Okay, so here I am working on this scooter, and basically this connector was stuck into its receiver down there, so I had to yank it out pretty hard. This one was okay. Whoops, let's see if I can get a good shot of that. I can't. Anyway, oh, there we are. You can see the ends of it anyway there somewhere. One of them's pretty dark, but the other ones are okay. These ones are both fairly dark, so they've been carboning up. So then I load tested the batteries, and I got 12.6 volts static. I put it under 100 amp load, and I got 7 volts. It dropped down to 7 volts after 10 seconds. The other battery started off at 13 volts, and I put it under 100 amp load, and it went down to 10.5 volts after 10 seconds. And then, just for fun, I put the 13 volt one on 20 amp load and let it sit there for under a minute, and it had already lost a volt down to 12 volts. So, well, that tells us that both of these batteries are very weak and they need to be replaced. They were only put in February 6th of 2014. So the only thing I can assume is that they have not been maintained properly with charge, a full charge, or they're an inferior battery compared to other types that we use. These are sealed, non-spillable liquid lead acid batteries. It's supposed to be a deep cycle. That's what you want to use in these, but some people use these universal batteries. They should be functioning better than this. Basically, the symptom the person had was they could only drive for 2 or 3 blocks before their batteries died. Now, with the one bad battery and the other one good, the other thing that happens, and that's why that connector down there was hard to pull apart, was because it started to melt itself together with the heat that was generated. When it's being used, when it gets down low on charge, the battery heats up quite a bit as it's giving out its last oomph, because the chemical reaction gets pretty fierce in there, but there's nothing to do, no power to produce, because there's not enough electrolyte in solution. So, because basically what you do with a battery, this kind anyway, liquid lead acid, you're basically making the solution that's in it turn to crystals when you use up the power. And then, because there's no onboard charger to keep maintaining the charge, every night you have to charge it, and basically what the charger does is take those crystals off the plates and put them back into solution. It doesn't take a lot of energy at all to charge these batteries, which is the biggest myth in personal mobility vehicles that are electric. Everybody thinks, oh well, if I get one of these, my electricity bill is going to go sky high. Most of the battery chargers put out 5 amps or 10 amps or 8 amps. The one for this one actually puts out 3.5 amps. So with it only putting about 3.5 amps out an hour, when you convert the 120 volts 60 hertz down to 12 volts at DC at 3.5 amps, it's very inexpensive to keep this thing charged every night. So I don't know why more people don't do it. They seem to neglect charging their batteries after every use, and if you don't charge your batteries after every use, they sit in a state of discharge. When they sit in a state of discharge, the crystals that form on the plates stick harder to the plates, and it becomes much harder for the charger to put them back in solution. So over time, you're really killing your batteries by not charging it after every use. And what that means is, if I charge this scooter overnight and the battery charger automatically shuts off, and I get up in the morning and I take the scooter down to get my mail in the lobby of my hotel room or my apartment or wherever I am, and then I go back up to my room and I don't put it on charge that evening, that means that the crystals that have just formed on the plates are still there, and they're going to be very hard for the charger to get off, because the longer the crystals stay on the plates, they leave a microscopic film, and then when the crystals form on crystals instead of crystals forming on plates, the first crystals, the first crust basically, never ever comes off the plates. And that's how you kill your batteries over time, by just not charging them. Got to think about your car. Your car has batteries that'll last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years, because they're being charged constantly after they're used with your alternator in your car. As long as your car is running, it's charging your batteries. Not so in this. This has no running charger on it. You have to stop the scooter, you have to plug it into a wall socket, and it only charges stationary. So that's basically my best advice to everybody using a power wheelchair or a power scooter is, if you use it in the day, even for 5 minutes, plug it in overnight. It's an automatic charger, it's not going to cost you a lot, and it'll save your batteries. Make them last a lot longer than a year. Take care, have a good time guys, talk to you later, bye.